I hope next has been very fun and informative for you all. I have one more exciting thing to talk about, and that is our AI-generated live images. So I also have with me Peter and Joaquín today, who are our customer partners, very amazing customer partners, who will share why these live images are important to their business and how they plan to include them in their products and services. So let me start by introducing myself. My name is Avanti Sane, and I am a product manager in the generative AI group at Google Cloud. I'm very thrilled to be here with you all today. Here's a brief look at the agenda. Okay, so in the world of moving pictures, anything is possible. It's a place where dreams come true and imaginations run wild. So dynamic images have the capability to inspire us. They can make us laugh, and they can also make us question reality sometimes. And the studies have constantly shown that dynamic images do better than static images when it comes to memorability. And this is particularly important in a business context, because if you use dynamic images, typically you see a 26% uptick in click-through rate, a 10% uptick in email, openings of email, and just generally they perform better than static images. Seeing that there is such a vast market and need for this, we are happy to announce Imagine Live Images on Vertex AI, which is currently in private preview. With this, customers can now generate high-quality live images using a text prompt and at enterprise scale. So what does the product do? It's very simple. You give it an input text prompt, and it generates a short 4-second live image that visualizes the content of that prompt. So let's take a look at the features. Each live image is 4 seconds long. The frame rate is 24 frames per second. It is available in landscape mode for the MVP, and the resolution is 640 into 360. What else? For each input text prompt, you can get up to 4 live images at the same time. And more importantly, it is available as both UI and API. Now, the API part is especially important because we understand that as you use AI in your workflows, you don't want to have to go to a separate UI to do AI. It has to be fundamental and built into your product workflows, and hence the API offering was important. So we have 2 major differentiators. One is watermarking, and the other is safety filters. Let's learn more. So watermarking. Again, it was very important for us that when we came to market with such a technology, we also offered the customers the ability to discern between what is real and what is not. And to enable that, each frame of the generated live image will have an invisible digital watermark on it. So if you are on the UI, you would see the small security badge icon at the bottom right, which tells you that the live image is watermarked. Now, this is important because let's say you use our product to create an asset and you put it out in the world. Now, there are always bad actors out there who may take that asset, edit it, and make it mean something that it is not. In that case, in the future, we will be offering a watermark verification service. So all you have to do is upload the asset into the service, and it can confirm whether it was originally created by us or not. So as you can imagine, it brings a lot of peace of mind and will protect you from a lot of libel and legal issues. Safety filters. So at Google, we take safety very, very seriously. And as you use this product in your workflows, one thing you want to do is you want to be able to establish the boundaries of the product so that you can create safe outputs. And keeping that in mind, we have a lot of flexibility. So first of all, CSAM, CSI, personal information, and celebrities, these are blocked by default, and these are also non-configurable. They will always be off the table. But when it comes to things like children generation, hate, violence, toxicity, or vulgarity, it is blocked for the MVP, but in the future, you may be able to turn it on or off based on your use cases. What we have on by default is people generation, but that can also be turned off. I also want to spend some time talking about our foundational approach to safety. So we actually build it in at every level. So the foundational model, once it's trained, we test it with a very serious and involved effort. So this involves red teams who come up with thousands of prompts, whether it's for adversarial testing or benign testing. We make sure that we adhere to very strict thresholds, and we do this all over again when we productize it. So needless to say, safety is paramount. So now that we know what the product is, let's take a look at some of the sample live images. So currently, the current version of the product does very well at close-ups of persons or faces. Here's the first one. You can easily imagine this as an ad for makeup. Take a look at the prompt. Even in short 4 seconds, it's able to capture a lot of the nuances of the prompt. So the whole sculpted cheekbones, highlighting, the dramatic lighting, all of that. Here's another great one. For the same prompt, you get 2 very different outputs. Although the outputs are different, you can see that they stick to the prompt in their own way. So whether it's the expressive eyes or reflecting depth and emotion, you get both of that. This is another great one. I think it does a great job of capturing the lifetime of wisdom. Let's look at animals. So I'm a dog lover, and I thought this one was really nice when it came to capturing the vulnerability of sleeping puppies. But I haven't forgotten you cat lovers, and I have 2 for you guys. Those are some really happy cats. Here's another one. So one thing I wanted to say was the model is very good at understanding video and camera technology. So it understands shots and camera techniques. So if you say things like POV shot or dolly shot or panoramic view or extreme close-up, you should be able to say that freely within your text prompt. Let's look at some nature and flora samples. So take a look at this one. If you see, the prompt is fairly short, but the way it has been interpreted is very interesting, and again, it sticks to the content of the prompt itself. You guys probably saw this at the keynote, but here's a time lapse of a daylily flower. Let's look at food images. That's a delicious pot of Thai green curry bubbling away. Here's another favorite of mine. So again, as you can see, in 4 short seconds, it has captured the smoke enveloping, the gradual caramelization, and all of that good stuff. Here are some cityscapes, so a time lapse. Here I've been a little bit more specific with saying include vehicles and pedestrians. Here's another great one, time lapse again, from dawn to dusk. Now let's look at what it does with abstract concepts. So any kind of prompts which are not rooted in real life. Check this one out. I think it does a great job of capturing the whole tactile and handcrafted feel and the whole paper shape concept. Here's another one. So if you watch, it starts off with the face, it goes pretty quickly, and then and slowly dissolves it into actual pixels. Okay, now that we have a good idea of the kind of live images you can expect, let's take a look at what kind of use cases this can inspire. So obviously the first one is any kind of ad generation. We have noticed that there is a very strong consumer appetite for short-form ad generation, which has seen a lot of explosive growth with some of the platforms, the newly up-and-coming platforms you guys have seen. This sometimes means that you have to create different versions of the same concept to appeal to different target audiences. So with live images, hyper-personalization of ads will especially be very easy and fast. So for example, say you're a coffee company called Symbol, and your campaign objective is showing people drinking coffee to relax and rejuvenate. Just by changing the target segment within the same input text prompt, now you can create different creatives, and also this process will get highly sped up. Staying with ad generation, another popular category is how do you focus on A/B testing and come up with different variations for A/B testing. And here's another example I have put where, again, the prompt is pretty open-ended and is more conceptual, if you will, and you get two separate versions which you could easily run for A/B testing. Asset generation. So this is pure asset generation. Today, there's such a huge need for content, whether it's your website, whether it's social. You may need it for background rolls, transition shots, any kind of reels. And live images is a perfect solution for it. Now, you can choose to either sell this created content, or you may even want to offer the creation as a service to your end users. So both options are viable. Concept ideation is a great one. This is mostly for our media and creative companies. Any kind of storyboarding or scene visualization can be a very expensive exercise from a time as well as cost perspective. And this is even before you start producing the actual episode or show that you have. So live images are the perfect way to bring to life your concepts, like in the mock-up you see on the right. And so you can quickly get feedback from your stakeholders and then be ready before you actually start shooting. And last but not the least, content for social. So almost everybody here, every customer here has some kind of a social presence, and you understand the need for creating fresh content almost on a daily basis. So live images is a perfect way to be able to keep your social channels buzzing and churning with fresh content. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So I would like to now hand over to one of our customers, Peter Gordon from WPP.
Thank you. All right. Hi, everybody. So my name is Peter Gordon. I'm the head of AI product at WPP. Today I'm going to talk about more broadly how we're seeing the possibilities for generative AI video as it starts to emerge. We're really excited to get our hands on the Imagine Live photo stuff. I think some of the use cases Avanti showed, directly apply to marketing. We've been looking at generative AI for the last 18 plus months. And here's some of the use cases that we're currently using this really transformative technology in. I think just to tell you a bit about WPP, in case you're not from the world of advertising, we are the world's largest advertising company. We create all of the award-winning ads that you probably know and love. And we have put this into a technology called WPP Open, which we have made available to every single person in the group, over 100,000 people. So we have over 40,000 people every month accessing our generative AI products. Okay. So this is how we think about AI in three different categories. The first is inspiration. This is about coming up with the key creative concept. We then go into automation, and then finally, optimization. So I'm going to take you through each of those and talk about how generative AI video could potentially affect each of these use cases. So the first is augmented creativity in the inspiration phase. This is where our creative agencies come up with the key idea. We respond to a brief from a client that's usually driven around a specific product and a KPI, and we come up with a creative concept. So it's a very creative modality here. And the people that work in our creative agencies really are artists. They're kind of trying to come up with fresh thinking and new ways of moving culture forward or responding to a cultural moment. So generative AI is an interesting conundrum because it's obviously trained on historical data. So the challenge in this space is really, how do we use generative AI to come up with a brand new, fresh idea? And at WPP, we've looked at how AI is implemented within the organization. And there's really two approaches that you can take. The first is, AI as an automation to replace people, really. And what we're looking at is, of course, to use it as a tool to supercharge the human experience. And so that becomes extremely clear in the creative process. So our creatives are like artists. You can imagine your favorite musician. They now have new tools to kind of make albums faster. And this is really what we're doing here. I think a bit of a, if I could speak directly to the product owners in the room, when you're creating AI within the organization, you really should be looking at this as a collaborative technology that heroes the human who's operating it. There's incredible new possibilities to enable the intrinsic thought and visceral reactions of humans. And we're doing that with our products. And you can represent that within unique interfaces that respond to your use cases. So in this space, generative AI video will become very useful for things like mood boards, coming up with concepts, really moving ideas from the creative's minds onto paper. And that's going to enable people to connect thought to thought and come up with even better concepts. It's also going to enable us to be able to sell them into the client and show them the story in a much deeper way than was possible before. Moving to the second stage, that's automation. This is really where the production side of the business starts to get involved. So the production team then takes that key idea and goes ahead and films that commercial, makes that design, and then cuts it into all the different shapes and sizes needed for every screen, every magazine and billboard and so forth. So this really is the most challenging part for generative AI to play a part because, of course, it requires absolute perfection when it comes to reflecting the specific brand. And so it's a challenging space, one that will probably start just for things like enabling a more efficient format adaptation, and then growing into things like special effects, but ultimately starting to move into the space of primary production. So what you're seeing on the screen here is a virtual set. It's kind of made famous from The Mandalorian. But we have this at Hogarth, which is the production arm of the business. And it enables us to shoot in a variety of different situations without going on location. So, we've always used technology to create more efficient and expressive advertising, and live video, generative AI video, as it starts to mature, will be really assistive in this process. So in the automation phase, generative AI is moving us into more higher level thinking and enabling us to execute more quickly. And then finally, we have optimization, and this is the media side of the business. This is about deciding where these ads go. It's about choosing which audiences we want to see the ads. And then it's about changing some of the messaging and some of the photography to reflect the specifics of their interest groups or their markets. So you're seeing here a couple of boxes. These are the kinds of things that we can target with Google's DV360. And generative AI is in heavy use in the organization, particularly in this space, to remix headlines, to kind of put a football in the background of something and these kinds of things. So video will be an incredibly useful use case for this. We can obviously do this with images today, but we're really excited to see how live photos and videos are going to enable a new type of connection to the audience as we start to roll that out. So I think just to finish off there, these are the kinds of concerns that businesses have every day. It's the age-old challenges around time, quality, and cost. And we've always used technology to solve those. Generative AI offers new potential to solve these, as well as to really supercharge the way that we go about our work in a smarter and more creative way. I think just to touch on one of them up there, which is sustainability. It's a very interesting topic with generative AI, of course, because there's concerns about the energy usage and water usage as generative AI starts to become more and more in use. And I think it's an interesting idea to look at this in a holistic space, to say that in a mature generative AI implementation, has this reduced travel, has this reduced on-location shoots and other things that we can do to try and actually count towards a carbon reduction. So I'm now going to hand over to Joaquín from Freepik, the CEO of Freepik, to talk about how he's used generative AI in his product. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Hi, everyone. I'm Joaquín Cuenca, co-founder and CEO of Freebig company. Let me explain you a little bit what is Freebig, what do we do. We started Freebig in 2010. We started it because we were making websites, we needed images, and as we were poor Spaniards, we wanted free images, and there were not many available on the internet. So what we did is we used Google to find those images. But it was a slow process. We needed to check many results to find the images that we wanted, and we decided to create a search engine that only indexed 20 websites that we knew had great free images. It was a success. So the next thing is that we started looking at what the users search on our platform, what kind of images they were searching. And we started creating those images. The reason why we created them is because at the time we were indexing 1.5 million images. People had many friction going from our website to the final image that was hosted elsewhere. And actually, one of the websites that we were indexing, he asked us to remove from our index his images. He had 1 million images out of 1.5 million. So it was a big blow to us. We decided that we were too weak, just indexing 20 websites, and that it will be also better for the user, will give more value to the user if we created ourselves the images, if we give them more value, better images, and less friction to use those images. So that was the next step on, let's say, our journey. And we keep doing that, right? We keep looking at what the users needed, what they were looking for on the platform, and iterating, delivering quickly on that feedback, okay? We have been doing that for the past 14 years. We, on top of illustrations, we're starting doing photos, icons, videos. Maybe you know Flaticon is another very popular website that we own. SlidesGo, another one that has presentations. And today on Freebig, you can find all the graphical assets that you need to do your creative work. Okay? But then something happened. Maybe you will remember what you were doing when the first diffusion model showed that computers could create images. I remember it perfectly. It hit me like a buzz. Okay? Here I have a company, a stock image company, that lives by selling images, and there you have a new technology that makes images on the fly. Okay? So I did something stupid probably, but what I did is I rationalized it. Okay, my first reaction was, okay, but this is crap. Okay, the images are not good enough. I look at my images and I look at those images, and you know, it got 80% there, but the last 20% is gonna take them another 80% of the time. Well, that didn't work out, okay? So next year, DALL-E 2 comes out, and then I was completely devastated. I spent 1 week without sleep, like looking at all the images that DALL-E 2 was generating. So there I decided to change my strategy, okay? And there I come with a reflection on what we were doing on Freebig. Somebody suggested that to understand our mission, I needed to think of what we were doing when we created the website, okay? It's why did you create it? We created it because we wanted to create great designs faster, okay? We were trying to save time, and we were trying to get a great design out of the door. That's why we created the company, okay? So if that's our mission, if we are here to help people create great designs faster, then having stock images is just a tool on that mission, okay? It's just one way to fulfill the mission. But generative AI is another powerful tool, okay? So we decided to go all in on Gen AI and see what we could do with this new technology that can help people create great designs faster. Then we started working on this, and we saw that the current technology has a few strong points and also a few weak points, okay? So on the weak points is that it lacks control. The user types not from what they want, but it's very difficult to control with words the kind of image that you want. You know the saying that an image is worth 1,000 words? But it's very, very difficult to describe with precision something. Okay? So we found that the interface to this technology, it was really not great, okay? It lacks consistency, like if you want to use the same model, the same person on different images, it's very difficult to keep the same person across different scenes. It's slow, and there are more problems, okay? So we started tackling those problems one by one, just like we did before with FreePic, looking at user feedback, looking at what are their pains, and working on them one by one. So the first thing that we changed is that we accelerated those models. Usually it takes 3 seconds to generate an image. It's much faster than going to an illustrator and ask him to draw one image to you, okay? But as the generations, as the images that it creates, they are faulty, they have very often issues, you actually want many different images to pick the perfect one, okay? So in total, it actually takes time to find the right image. So by accelerating it, we made it way more usable. For us, speed is a feature of the product, and it can completely change the product. You will remember that Google, when it first came out, it was the thing that made it different. It was better and it was faster. Being fast is really important to us. Yeah? Let me show you a demo on how designers can work with our tools, with our image generator. It will highlight this point. You can clap if you want. So it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but many people work on something similar to this, okay? And we try to give them all the tools that they need to deliver faster on the work, because it will make their customer happier, they will be happier, and we'll be happier, okay? The second thing is that we were thinking about this idea of typing from a text, and we thought about different ways that we can give people control over the image that we are generating, okay? So many people in our company, they are artists, okay? So they thought that going from a sketch to an image, it was a better interface than going just from purely text. So let me show you the other product that we built, which we call Picasso Sketch. So if you use it, you will see that something that is really incredible is that it's going real time. As you draw, it changes your image. If you're not touched by it, is that you have no heart whatsoever. It's really impressive. I suggest you try it, okay? After we started developing AI-enabled products, we realized that before AI, we were only delivering on part of our mission. Okay, our product was really not complete. We had high quality stock images, videos, icons, templates, everything that we could do to help users. But we were not able to deliver bespoke images. Okay, there are many different use cases where you cannot use an existing image. You need something like this for you. Okay? Imagine that you want to do a cartoon with your kids or with your partner or somebody that you know. You cannot go to a stock site and just pick a random image. You need something that is based on their image. So the only alternative that you had before is to go to an illustrator and ask him or her to do a drawing for you. But we all know what happens is that you go nowhere and you don't do that drawing, and this idea stays in your mind. Okay? Thanks to those tools, we are helping your ideas get out of your mind and getting those designs in your hands. And the third point is that we realized that everything that we had, it was really difficult to use. To use FreePic, actually, before AI, you were downloading an image, and then you needed to use professional graphic software that is really complex to use, okay? And it's actually a huge bottleneck on our product. There are very few people that can use FreePic because there are very few people that know how to edit and how to create more images. So by using AI, we are opening all the assets that we have to a wider audience. Some stats to encourage you in your companies to move forward with AI, because to me, part of the message that I'm delivering here is that the journey that I went through in our company by shifting AI from a threat to an opportunity is a journey that sooner or later you will face in your companies. I think it will affect every one of us. We were just lucky enough to be 3 years earlier than others, okay? So before AI arrived to our company, we had 120 million images downloaded every month. Okay, it's the most trafficked stock image site on the planet, and 85 million monthly visitors. Now with AI, those numbers didn't change. Yeah, we just keep growing at our usual pace. The thing that changed is that on top of it, people are now creating 150 million new images every month. Okay, so it's been purely additive, and I will again encourage you in your companies to adopt AI because I think it will make your customers happy and it will allow you to offer them new services. Okay. Well, we look forward to integrate the new technologies. Our last acquisition at Google. Our last acquisition at FreePic was Vidivo. We included videos in the platform, and we are looking forward to use the new models that generate videos to create new products with them. As we see it, our opportunity here is to take the technology that exists and create products that deliver value to the users using whatever technology is available. So, thank you all, and please, Avanti, bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Joaquín. All right. So to summarize, Imagine Text-to-Live Images is currently in private preview. It is safe for enterprise to use because of its watermarking and content safety filters. And it's perfect for short-form ad generation, creating visual assets, and social content. So having said that, it brings us to the end of this session. Thank you, everybody, for your time and attention. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of the day.